Hey there theme park fans, it's Gio here for Independent Guides. Today we're looking at the top 9 things I love about Disneyland Paris when compared to the other Disney resorts around the world. So let's get into it with number 1. This is the most beautiful Magic Kingdom style park in the world. If it's your first time here, then you probably won't know that I am an ex-Disney cast member. I worked at both Walt Disney World and Disneyland Paris for a total period of around 2 years, and I've visited every Disney theme park across the world, so hopefully that qualifies me to talk about these things. And when I say this park is beautiful, it really is. The only other Disney park that even comes close to this is Tokyo Disney Sea or even Disney's Animal Kingdom, but for a classic castle style park, there is no comparison to Disneyland Park at Disneyland Paris. Main Street will feel familiar to anyone who's been to a Disney park before, but in Paris they went a step up. Disney learnt its lesson from the other parks and basically gave us 3 ways to get to the castle, 3 main streets. You have actual Main Street USA, but then you also have 2 arcades running parallel to it. You've got Liberty Arcade and the Discovery Arcade. For a start, these are beautiful, but also they're really useful in terms of guest flow. Say you're coming into the park and the parade is on, you can very easily walk to the left and go straight through the arcade and head to the castle and the hub. But if you are using the arcade, you don't have to miss out the shops. All the shops do have back entrances into the arcade, and the level of detail and theming is fantastic in these. These were not an afterthought. They were not a backstage area that's been converted for busy days like the Main Street bypass at Magic Kingdom, which frankly looks terrible. It's a properly designed and dedicated part of Disneyland Park. Now I feel like I spent a bit too long on Main Street, so here are some other images from the other lands. Frontierland has this amazing fort entrance, so once you head through you have a beautiful lake with Big Thunder Mountain in the middle, a little look at Phantom Manor here, and I'll talk more about these 2 later in the video. And the crowd flow is really good in the park. You can see that the walkways, they're wide, but somehow it still feels cozy, and at a human scale it doesn't feel like overly wide walkways or overly narrow walkways. Adventureland is probably my favourite land visually, maybe because I work there. It's this beautiful mix of themes. You've got this Arabian inspired entranceway, the treehouse in the centre of the land, the pirate galleon, the caves, this incredible fort entrance, the Pirates of the Caribbean. Fantasyland has little areas dedicated to different parts of Europe. Even just the ride facades are stunning. Look at the entrance here of Peter Pan, and much of this of course is lifted directly from the original Disneyland in California, but it's that sense of scale and guest flow and beauty that makes this feel so unique. Look at the detail here with the old mill, for example. And we end with the last land in the park, which is Paris's Tomorrowland. This is called Discoveryland here, and it has this beautiful Jules Verne inspired steampunk theme design, the most beautiful Space Mountain anywhere in the world. At the center of the land we have Nautilus with the lagoon nearby, Orbitron is just stunning, and Cafe Hyperion is just something else. Plus, even in this land that doesn't necessarily lend itself to gardens, the landscaping here is pretty cool as well. So as I say, the most beautiful Disney park in the world, which brings me to number 2, the best Disney castle in the world. As I said earlier, Disneyland Paris is heavily inspired by the original Disneyland and not Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom, so when making the castle, it made sense to go with Sleeping Beauty's castle. There's no denying that this is one huge step up. It is picture perfect, and the Imagineers decided to go for more of a fantasy style than they had in the US, as Europeans are used to seeing real castles, so they wanted something that was more of a dreamlike castle for the park, more like the one in the film. I love the hill, I love the square cut trees just like in the original film, and I love that you can go inside this castle. So similar to the one in Disneyland in California, they have a walkthrough. But here they've taken it a step up. They have these beautiful glasswork and tapestries which were handmade here in France. The inside of the castle, as you come through the drawbridge, is these stunning trees holding up the building and the castle above it. And I love the fact that you can step out and get this incredible view over Fantasyland. There is no restaurant upstairs like the Magic Kingdom one, but they've put that in a building right next door to it here. That's where the Princess Dining experience is, so it works really well. And there are a couple of shops at ground level. There's a year-round Christmas shop here, and then of course the best kept secret in the park or not is the Dragon's Lair, where Disney's largest ever animatronic at the time is lying in sleep. There's a dragon, and every once in a while it hisses and breathes and wakes up. Does this castle have elaborate attractions running through it like Shanghai Disneyland's? No. But visually and in terms of detail, I much prefer this one. I think Shanghai's castle is just much too large, and it certainly wouldn't fit in this park. Number 3 is the manageable scale of the resort. I think Disney got this right more than at any of its other resorts. This isn't a tiny resort like Disneyland in California, and it's not huge like Walt Disney World. It has 2 theme parks, they are a short walk away from each other, 2 or 3 minutes. Disney Village is just outside the theme park, and then beyond that you have all of the hotels. You have the Disneyland Hotel right at the entrance, but for the other hotels you can walk in 10, 15, maximum 20 minutes. Or they have shuttle buses, of course. Disney also has a campground, which is a little further away. So I'm not including that here when I'm talking about the scale of the resort. I'm talking about this main campus. Compared to the other Disney resorts internationally, Tokyo unfortunately has designed the parks back to back. As a guest, it means that you need to take the monorail to get between the 2 parks, which is cute, but it's not as convenient. Shanghai, I think, has gone for the Disneyland Paris model. I think it will end up being very similar in scale and in layout as it's being developed, but again the hotels here are less convenient. At Hong Kong Disneyland there's not even a shopping area, and apart from the Hong Kong Disneyland Hotel, the others they're a bit far to walk to the park, but you can always get the free shuttle bus in just a few minutes. Really, Disneyland Paris is very European, so you can walk everywhere, and it's really the best integrated Disney resort in the world. Number 4, and this is a big one for me, the unique rides. Disneyland Paris has lots of familiar rides, but with some twists and some unique elements. So Big Thunder Mountain in Disneyland Paris has a fantastic layout. You get this ride in a tunnel at very high speed, actually, in both directions, and it goes under the water onto this beautiful island, which is the centerpiece of Frontierland. Pirates of the Caribbean, in my opinion, is the best traditional Pirates ride in the world. It's grand, it's detailed, I like the order of the scenes, but that's debatable. I'm not including the Shanghai Pirates ride here, as it's not really a direct comparison. It's a different type of ride system. So for the original Pirates, for me this is the best one. Phantom Manor will be very familiar if you visited Disney's Haunted Mansion rides at the other parks. The exterior, I much prefer this one. The way the storyline links with Big Thunder Mountain and the unique cemetery scenes during the ride just make it beautiful. It's great. Space Mountain is completely different to the other Space Mountains. It's leagues above them. It's a fast roller coaster. It has loops. It has this launch section. It's fantastic. It might be my favorite ride at the parks. And then you have the more minor things. You have the Aladdin walkthrough and Nautilus. And then there's the Studios Park, Tower of Terror. Yes, other parks have a Tower of Terror, but Paris has really notched up the creepiness factor with a recent update that they did. So it's very unique. Crusher's Coaster is a unique spinning coaster. I think it's well done. I just wish it were higher capacity because the queues are always so long for it. And opening this summer, there is of course a new Iron Man roller coaster as well, which will be unique and will be replacing Rock and Roller Coaster. Now before we get to number 5, just to let you know, we do have the independent guide to Disneyland Paris 2022 available in English and French on Amazon. So if you're visiting the parks, grab the guide and plan the ultimate trip. Now number 5 is getting to the park. This is another convenience one really, but the resort is super well connected. There is a train station literally 60 seconds walk from the resort entrance. This is also the case with the parks in Asia of course, but Paris really has gone one step up. It has the direct links to the airport in about 10 minutes on the TGV trains. It has that RER train, the subway essentially, to Paris city centre in about 35 minutes. It has trains from all across Europe. You can get there by road. There are shuttle buses, taxis directly to the resort. And even if you are staying in the UK, you can board a train in London, the Eurostar, and 2 hours and 45 minutes later, you're there at Disneyland Paris. It is incredibly well done. Number 6 is inclusivity. So in terms of welcoming visitors from different countries and languages, Disneyland Paris is fantastic. It's gone to the effort of having 6 official park languages, so you can get your maps and the apps and the announcements in all these languages. Every show is bilingual in English and French. The cast members, they all speak at least French and English, and lots of them will speak a 3rd or a 4th language. And also the resort's extremely inclusive for people with disabilities. But it's not just things like wheelchair accessibility. security that a lot of people think about. It's things like having the access cards that allow either priority or easier access for people who need all kinds of help. Next up is pricing. Now, this is a controversial one. Disney theme parks are not cheap. This is not a budget theme park day out. You're not going to get 2-for-1 deals, but in terms of day tickets for Disney parks, you can, if you visit during the off-season, pay as little as €59 for a day, or €114 for 2 days with a park hopper for both parks. Compare that to Walt Disney World, where you'll be paying $226 for 2 days, and that's not as a park hopper. Disneyland in California, $255. If you want it as a park hopper, $315. Shanghai, 2 days is $117, but there is only one park there. Hong Kong, $97, but you don't need 2 days. Disneyland Paris's tickets are probably the best value tickets along with Tokyo Disney's. Obviously, we do need to take into account other things like hotel and food and other spending, but for the quality of experience off-season, I think Disneyland Paris has fantastic deals. Plus, at Disneyland Paris, if you don't want to stay at the on-site hotels, you can find rooms in the partner hotels or even a little further afield, come in by train, and save a ton of money. So it is possible to do a Disneyland Paris trip cheaper than almost any other Disney resort in the world, in what is a very expensive country. Number 8 is how much planning you need to do. So, Walt Disney World, Disneyland and Tokyo Disney resorts are basically busy year-round. There are quieter seasons and busier seasons, but you do need to work out a highly scheduled itinerary for your visit. With the American parks, it's the fact you need to reserve a restaurant 60 days before you arrive. Now with Genie and Genie Plus and Lightning Lanes, if you want to ride the top rides, you need to make sure you wake up early in the morning to book a Lightning Lane before the park opens so you can get in and ride the popular rides. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting hours. At Tokyo, you need to be at that park at park opening. If you turn up an hour or two later, all the fast passes are gone. You need to stake out a spot for hours and hours in advance for the parades. If you want to see a show, chances are you're going to have to enter the lottery. We didn't get to see any shows when we went because of that. There's a lot of extra stress there. There's a lot of planning that needs to be done. At Disneyland Paris, it's a little bit more chilled. You can get a restaurant reservation on the day or a week before for 99% of places. If you're staying at a Disney hotel or you have the top annual passes, you've got early theme park entry. And in that first hour, you can knock out pretty much all of the top rides, and then you can spend the rest of the day at a much more leisurely pace. There are definitely certain rides that you should focus on at different times of day, and because of that, we have devised touring plans. There are 4 different touring plans in our guidebook, but your day and your stay doesn't need to be as scheduled in Paris as it does at the other Disney resorts. Number 9. Going to end on a bunch of unique experiences which are not rides. These are experiences that you can only have at the Disneyland Paris hotels, and I love all of these. First of all, the bars. So, I'm not a drinker, I'm not telling you to go to the bars to get drunk. What I am saying is that 3 of the bars are just amazing experiences. First of all, at the resort's top hotel, the Disneyland Hotel, you have Cafe Fantasia. This is, of the 3, the one I least prefer, but I like the atmosphere of this one. Sometimes you have live music in the lounge. It's quite small, quite intimate, but the service here is the best service. At Newport Bay Club Hotel, you have the Captain's Quarters, again an amazing service, but also an equally amazing view towards Lake Disney. But my favourite of the bars is the Sequoia Lodge Hotel, where you have the incredibly atmospheric Redwood Bar and Lounge. It's one of my favourite places anywhere to go and grab a warm drink in winter next to the huge fireplace, sit on the comfy sofas, and you feel a million miles away from a theme park resort that's in France. There's 2 other things I think are fantastic at the Disneyland Hotel, and I hope these don't change too much as the hotel is currently under refurbishment. First of all is the buffet restaurant at this hotel. Inventions, it's a character buffet. Of course you get to see all the classic characters, so you can see all of those without having to wait for them. But the best thing is food variety. It's so high quality. I've never seen a buffet of this quality anywhere else in the world. Especially if, like me, you like seafood. It's fantastic. And the last experience which I really love at Disneyland Paris, and again I've only done this once, and you'll understand why, is the Disneyland Hotel's Castle Club. And this is the hotel's club level. So I visited this when my friend was staying the night. It really is a special and unique experience. So it's a concierge level, as I say, so of course you have a cast member there that can help with questions and reservations and welcomes you when you arrive to that part of the hotel. There's a club lounge with drinks and snacks, and this is incredible, there is a private lift or elevator that bypasses the entire rest of the hotel. So you can still go down to the restaurants directly, but you can keep going down and you arrive at the entrance to Disneyland Park at the turnstiles. So there is no walking to get to the park. Plus, on top of this, I love this as well, the club lounge. It's got this incredible view down Main Street, USA, down to Sleeping Beauty Castle, an amazing, perfect view really of the fireworks, and of course in the evenings they pipe in the music while the fireworks are on. It's just such an incredibly exclusive, incredibly luxurious experience. It's a truly magical moment for anyone who has a chance to experience this. What's your favourite thing about Disneyland Paris? Let me know in the comments, and I hope you found something useful or unique to try for your next visit. Leave the video a like, check out the other videos on my channel, and subscribe for more Disney and theme park videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.